And welcome to Tales from the Tips. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like and hit that subscribe button. Drop us a comment. Let us know how we are doing. We'd love to hear from you. You can find Tales from the Tips wherever you find your favorite podcast. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and of course on the Odyssey app. Just search for Tales from the Tips. Subscribe, hit the plus button, follow, give us a thumbs up, and enjoy. I'm DA. That guy over there, 15-year tour caddy Mick Middlemo. He's got a lot to say about the U.S. Open and some rulings. We will touch on those. We'll take a look at the upcoming last signature event, the Travelers. And Mick?
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
I feel amazing. This is day 30. No alcohol.
Feel
amazing.
1 month in.
Even wearing shorts that I haven't been able to wear for a while.
70 days to go.
No, 75.
You said 100.
Yeah, I have to go 105.
Why now?
Because Reese, my bartender, who I love to death, one of my best friends, she gave up drinking when I was away, and she went 105 days. So then I told her I was going to do 106. And she did the female thing. She got all sad and mopey that I was going to beat her, so I said I would do 105.
So you're doing this now to just because to torture yourself for an extra 5 days?
Another 5 days isn't going to hurt.
That's definitely not going to hurt you.
Well, because also day 100 would have been on a Wednesday. No one really goes out on a Wednesday, so if I go to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, yeah, I could start the week off great.
You're going to start the week off the right way?
Booming.
Okay.
My car will be at Guston's for a week.
Well, it's been there because you were doing your social media hits for the local radio station in the back room of the Guston's.
You noticed that, huh?
I noticed everything.
You did know. How'd you know it was Guston's?
Mick.
Yeah, okay, good point.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's grip it and rip it.
Let's do it. See, I said I even got shorts on that I haven't worn for a while, and I have to do this so no one looks up my leg, apparently.
Well, yeah, your friend, our viewer in Australia.
Kim, yeah. Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Yeah, Kim Joyner. Hi, Kim.
What is going on with Kims that that revolve around us?
Yeah, I know, because the executive producer, Kim, yeah, he's not here. Kim?
Slim, this is where you put in the crickets again. Yeah. She said she was going to be here today.
Yeah. I saw her last week at the wonderful Father's Day event that you invited me to.
Oh,
at Lazy Dog Distillery.
Do you want to talk about that first?
It was a wonderful night.
We had a lot of fun.
Got to meet your daughter.
You got to meet my youngest.
Mm-hmm.
She likes herself some Uncle Mick.
Yeah, well,
well, because you helped her.
I got the ice cream for her.
You got her desserts, gluten-free desserts.
Yep. Yeah, worked hard for that.
That chef made for her.
He did.
By the way, the banana pudding one.
Yeah, I didn't.
Phenomenal.
I didn't try it.
It was drizzled with caramel.
Trying to be an athlete.
Yeah. Well, we didn't drink.
Nope.
I was in support of you. I stood with you.
There was a few people trying to get me to drink.
There were a couple people trying to get both of us to drink. We behaved ourselves.
I abstained.
We had a lot of fun with our buddy Dustin and his wife from Echo Park Speedway.
Yeah, good people. They were nice.
Wonderful. Like, what a fun Friday night.
It was good. It was much as it was in, where were we? Duluth or something? No, not Duluth. Where were we?
We were in Duluth. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a long drive from Ackworth, but it was well worth it. It was a good night.
We've got a nice partnership with the folks at Lazy Dog Restaurants.
Food was amazing.
Yeah.
Food was really good.
Nothing against our friends at Twin Peaks.
Nothing.
You know, our good partners. But no, the station was able to do this, and we've done this now for 3 years. We celebrate fathers. We have listeners come out that win on air, and we stepped it up another notch this year, and we gave away a really cool prize. One of our listeners gets to go to the drivers' meeting before the race here at the end of the month.
I've actually had the pleasure to do that. I have done that in my time. I've been to the drivers' meeting in Atlanta. It's a good thing.
You were telling us about that at dinner, and I was like, Mick, I didn't see you as a NASCAR guy.
Not really a NASCAR guy, but when you're in the caddy world and these tickets come around, you tend to follow those tickets. I didn't know what a cold pass was or a hot pass was to stay in the pits and all that sort of stuff, but I did. It was a good day. Met the managing director of the Newman Haas racing team, so I got to sit up there, and it was good.
Yeah, you went instead of just going baseline, you went high end right off the bat.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't do was drive. I think that was about as close as I got. We were right up there, which you wouldn't want because we'd steering wheels on the other side. So
yes, yeah, and just turn left.
And left with the side.
Just turn left.
Yep.
So we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah, she had a blast. She wanted me to thank you. You helped her with her dinner meal as well as the dessert.
Tried to help her with a new pair of shoes too, but that didn't.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Move on.
Yep.
She broke a heel on her shoe, and her father wouldn't buy her any other shoes.
She was fine. She
just
could
saying.
sit at the table. We weren't going anywhere.
Okay. All right, move on.
Okay. I ended up, by the way, you didn't see it.
Yeah, you did. You piggybacked her. Huh?
Yeah, I carried her all the way to the truck.
I saw
So,
it.
okay.
I saw the piggyback.
All right.
I was actually wondering if you'd hurt yourself.
No, I'm okay. And look at no wrap on the arm. I'm back. Yeah, the brace on the knee. Okay, so you have a deadline. We had our good friend Alex in last week.
Yep.
Thank you to Alex Urban from the Tour Championship.
Yeah, it was good. He's a good man.
We're going to be a part of the media day.
Get to play East Lake.
We get to play East Lake.
That'll be good when I've played twice this year, and then East Lake shouldn't be very challenging.
I want to see you critique the caddies. We're going to have 4 caddies that day.
Well, mate, those guys are awesome because they know the course backwards. I would actually love to do that for a job for like 6 months and just laugh at hackers coming out there and like, I'm going to give you a 7-iron, but it really doesn't matter because you're not going to hit it on the green.
You do
because
know
they talk about that.
There are clubs around here you could do that if you wanted to.
I wouldn't last long.
Why?
Oh, because I'd be telling people they suck and just
But you're a tour caddy. You have credibility. You have.
Yeah, well, not really.
You'd probably be pulling some pretty good loops.
Probably ruined a lot of careers.
Well, you have said you put a few on the couch.
Just spoke to Daniel Chopra on the way here today. And he's one. He's retired.
Permanently
retired. Yeah.
You.
Trip Eisenhower put him on the couch.
One of these days he's going to actually get him on the podcast.
Put Greg Owen on the couch. Nah, Greg's still playing. He's playing.
Greg's still playing.
Greg's still playing in Europe.
Yeah. Anyone else that we? I mean, Michelle Wee's still playing. I think.
Not really. She's
Not really.
having kids.
Yeah.
Married. She married well.
She did well. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what happened since. Oh yeah. Yeah. Look at you with your nice golf shirt on, representing the USA. We just had our national championship. We have a major new champion, JJ Spaun. Now, you and I were discussing this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into a few things. Let's first start with the guys that were actually playing decent enough to be up at the top, that didn't let the course eat them alive.
I think the course ate them alive.
I think most of them did.
Yeah.
One of us,
not me,
missed it by only a shot. I said even par.
Yeah.
You and Alex said +4.
Mm-hmm.
+4, though, led in the clubhouse for a long time.
Yeah, but it was never going to win. It was never going to hold up.
No, and that was the one thing I was looking for, and I thought Scotty could come in at +3. I thought, actually, if Scotty would have gotten to +2, that would have put some nerves into some of the boys coming up.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, once you post a score, you're looking at the scoreboard, you're like, well, the only way I can do that is if I go backwards. But obviously, JJ Spaun didn't go backwards. He started off going backwards. He didn't end up backwards. He ended up going forward.
Yeah, he used the rain delay to his advantage.
He turned it into a putting clinic.
Yeah, literally.
Hold a magnificent one for par, then another one for birdie, then another one for birdie.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with JJ? By the way, after JJ led on after 18 holes, somebody told me not a chance.
Yeah, didn't think so. Proved me wrong. Got a good caddy.
He has a really good caddy, doesn't he?
He does have a great caddy. I've known Mark Cairns for 20+ years.
I was going to say, he's a friend of yours.
He is. He cut his teeth caddying when I first started too. We were both on the com together, or nationwide tour, and we were in Prattville, Alabama for the
Where?
Prattville, Alabama.
What's in Prattville,
There's
Alabama?
Was it a Chili's or no? Ruby Tuesdays is the only place that was there, and we were there every night as caddies. And then the district manager had to come and visit on the Thursday because he couldn't work out why the sales were so high in their beer and liquor, and why they were going through so much is probably because there was like 60 caddies in town, and that was the only place to drink, and we took it deep there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really focus too much on the Tour Championship. Having said that, he is a huge Red Sox fan.
Oh.
And the Red Sox won their first World Series in like a 3,000-year drought that night before the Tour Championship first round. And he had a very big night. Yeah.
Wow. That would be
There was a few of them had a big night. I remember DJ Trahan was playing and his caddy was out with us, and they were rooming together, and he came back all hammered, drunk and stuff like that day before the championship, and his player put him in the hallway of the hotel to sleep out there with a blanket and a pillow because he was snoring and making... Yeah, there was a lot of angry players the next day. There was a lot of,
so speaking of...
Even my player who I was caddying for at the time, Ewan Walters, who has never touched a drop of alcohol in his life, and I was rooming with him at the time. I don't think he was too thrilled with me coming home that night either.
You were...
You were a little toxically inebriated the day
You
before
were a little
the Tour
inebriated
Champion-
before the Tour Championship.
The day before the Nationwide Tour Championship. I think it was about 20 of us that weren't really feeling good the next day.
So it's funny. One, I didn't know the story. Two, Ruby Tuesdays, when we were in college, was our go-to place.
I think I'm pretty sure it was Ruby Tuesdays. It was the only place there. And I also know that on the Sunday where you couldn't buy any alcohol in the town where we were at, Ruby Tuesdays was selling it to us out the back door, so we could take it back to our hotel.
Get out of here.
Well, the place is gone now, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to do, they had 25-cent wings and dollar pitchers.
They had a great salad bar.
Yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah, but yeah, it was quite the adventure that week. I still have friends of mine on Facebook that I met that week in Prattville, Alabama.
Prattville, Alabama.
It's the, what do they call it?
What course was there?
I can't remember the name of it. I know there's 36 holes there. It's the Robert Trent Jones Trail. It's one of those courses.
Oh, nice.
The golf course was garbage, but sorry.
Clubhouse didn't end up at 18 didn't end up at the clubhouse.
I think it did, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was one. Yeah, it was just a fluky golf course. It wasn't a great golf course.
Gimmick, huh?
Little gimmicky. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get into golf.
Let's go back to the US Open because I'm ready. I'm ready to roll on the USGA. I'm ready to punish the USGA and their stupidity.
Wow. Let's first talk about JJ Spaun. I did sympathize with him as a father. The 3 a.m. wake up when the wife is saying, "You need to do something." The child's throwing up. Usually that means they're laying in bed with you. CVS at 3 o'clock in the morning. No wonder he started out
55555. It's like one of those old phone numbers you know, like on the movies. 555.
5555.
That was his.
Yeah. Okay, but there were a couple. It wasn't like he was playing bad golf.
No, but that golf course can.
I mean, the 1 on 2. Clearly, one of the worst breaks you could possibly get.
There was a few bad ones along the way. Absolutely, there was a few players who had some bad ones along the way. But but I think the rain delay did him the world of good too. It's just, sometimes they help. The caddy can sit there and go, "Hey, listen, this is good for us. Let's regroup. Let's refocus." You can't go and hit balls. You can't putt. You can't do anything. You just got to sit in the clubhouse and you're like, "Okay, let's have something to eat," and then try to regroup and go again.
So.
It helped the Cubs win a World Series in 2016.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Little 17-minute rain delay.
You're still basking in that one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's turn our focus then to the guys that were in the final group. What do you think happened to them?
I just think the golf course won on the day. They got a little unlucky with some of the... Obviously, with the rain doesn't help, and the course is underwater. And there was a couple of shots I noticed that went long. Adam Scott hit one that went over the green and into the garbage.
Yeah, the wedge on I think 12.
Yeah, it was like 140 yards, I think it was. But obviously, there was water got in between the club face and the ball, and little flyer that happens.
Yeah, but that happens in rain.
Yeah, but especially when there's that much water on the ground. And obviously Sam Burns got a horrible ruling on...
So we're going to touch on the ruling in a second.
Yeah.
Let's hold on to that one because I do agree. I think he got a bad break. He had a couple bad breaks. One, perfect drive, and he ends up in a sand-filled divot. And then obviously
he hit a good shot though with it.
Yeah, he pulled that one off, but that could have gone a lot of wrong ways.
Yeah.
And then on 15
the sand-filled divots, when they're that firm, are a little bit easier to hit it out than just when they've got a lot of sand in them. When they're dry and compact like that, that's not as hard for them to hit it out of.
No, it
may be for you and me.
Hey, you know what I'm doing? I'm rolling it out of the sand-filled divot.
Welcome to Golf in America. Put it where you want.
Hey, unplayable lie.
Preferred lies.
Yeah.
Preferred lies every day.
It was
Doesn't
funny.
matter if it's perfect conditions, preferred lies.
So the funny thing is you didn't have a chance to meet my oldest. So I got to spend Father's Day with my oldest. I got to move her out of her college dorm on Sunday, but she was the reason that I became a father the first time. She has a very unique history with the U.S. Open. My first Father's Day, she got to sleep on my chest when I passed out after being at the golf course all morning and watched the U.S. Open with me. So she watched the U.S. Open with me on Sunday. She asked the question, she goes, "Okay, Dad, why does he get relief from the sprinkler, but he doesn't get relief from the sand-filled divot?" Would you like to answer this question, Mick?
No.
Because both are man-made, according to the 19-year-old child.
Fact.
So what is the difference, Mick?
Well, one's immovable.
Okay.
Which is the sprinkler. You can't move it, so it's a fixed, permanent fixture.
Right.
The other one is just the rub of the green. It's the rules of golf.
Do you know what it's like trying to explain the rules of golf to a 19-year-old?
It's like trying to explain the rules of cricket to an American. It's impossible.
It's nearly impossible.
Fact.
And even when you're watching it.
Yeah. It's like, because obviously the response is going to be, well, that's stupid.
And that's exactly what her response was.
And she's not far off the truth.
But
it's just a grey area that you can't touch. You just can't. It's just the way it is.
Well, no, because
then all of a sudden you go, well, that's an old divot. It's a grass-filled divot. My ball's sitting down a little bit. Then we're going to have another ruling, and someone's going to come along and say yes or no. And no, just leave the divots the way it is.
We're going to touch on guys coming by and saying yes or no.
Yes.
Sam Burns.
Yeah, played well. Let's say a little unlucky down the stretch.
So you think? So would you put it in luck? Because watching him, I think that rain delay really messed him up.
Yeah, it didn't help him.
He was all over the place off the tee.
Yeah, and you can't do that when the rough's bad enough, but when it's wet, just makes it.
Well, and that's the one thing that
makes it even worse.
You and I were talking about was the course conditions are tough enough with 5.5/6 inch
feet. 6 feet of rough.
And I've got a couple things that I want to ask you about as we get into the course layout and setup, because I know you were very outspoken on Friday night with the course setup. You were not happy with it even going into the tournament.
Someone was a little more angry at me about it.
Do you want to refer to Rory or Wyndham?
Yeah, all of them.
All of the above?
All of them.
I don't know if I even want to even address the Wyndham. Again, I don't know if that's true yet.
It's true.
See enough on social.
It's true. Did you see the pictures?
Well, yeah, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It happens.
So what happens then in that case?
You'll get fined. It'll be a hefty fine. Rory will get fined for smashing his tee marker. It used to be 5,000. When I was caddying, it was 5,000 for smashing a tee marker. Chump change.
I was going to say that's pocket money for
chump change
for Rory.
Yeah. I caddied for a fellow by the name of Paul Gow from Australia who does a TV show in Australia. He's a great guy. Had a little anger issues, including getting beaten in a playoff at Raleigh, North Carolina, on a nationwide tour event, and he got beaten by Chris Anderson, I think the guy's name was, that beat him, and he walked up the hill and tried to kick this trash can that was made of cardboard, and he got his foot stuck in it, and he couldn't get his foot out, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But you're trying not to laugh at him because he's just lost a playoff, but you couldn't help just laugh his head off. But
well, I mean,
he was very. He got a lot of fines on the PGA Tour, and he wasn't a multi-millionaire by any stretch of the imagination, but he could get fined with the best of them. 84 Lumber one year, he was walking. We had a huge rain delay, like we lost a day's play, and he's just come off like a double bogey, and he's walking to the next tee, and this marshal says to him, "Hey, you just have to walk this way to get to the tee." And Paul's response was, "Mate, I've been walking for 35 years. You don't tell me which way I walk. I'll go whatever way I want." That was a $5,000 fine because the guy wrote a letter that he was disrespectful. And then the next week he got another fine because he threw a water bottle on the 10th hole, and I can't remember what course it was. But it went near, the marshal said it went near him, but it didn't, because I was in the group. It didn't go anywhere near him, but the marshal complained, so he got another fine. So he had 2 in a row, but his manager got him out of the second one by saying that he hadn't had time to rehabilitate from the first one, so he shouldn't have to pay the second one.
Wow.
And the PGA Tour let him off.
So
you do get fined. There is a lot of people get fined on that.
Do you get fined for throwing clubs?
You do, but I guess if it has to be on TV, and I think if anyone's in danger and stuff like that, you'd be surprised how many fines Tiger Woods had in his career. He's probably the most fined player on tour.
Well, so it was funny because
he has the most microphones with him too. Tyrrell Hatton's got to be raking up. He's got to be racking them up too.
You talk about someone.
I love watching him. He's the man right there.
I am going to say this.
You talk about wearing it on your sleeve, and just that guy. I mean,
I thought
every golf club has.
I thought he was tame.
Oh, he was tame.
I mean, the major brings out like tame.
Oh, he was.
Terrell.
He was tame. If you get on YouTube, have a look at some of the YouTube videos of him getting angry and some of the things he says. It's amazing.
Here's where I'm, because we're going to get into the course layout, and when I say layout, the entire structure of way they had the greens and the roughs and everything like that. I think in the case of 17, he got one of the most unfortunate breaks.
That was horrible.
The fact that those bunkers are designed for a reason, and that is to collect golf balls, not have 6-inch soaking wet rough surrounding them like you've got a toupee on the top of your head.
I think the thing about that is it's because it's a 304-yard par 4, because it gives you the opportunity to drive it. So if you can still hack one out, you can still make par, supposedly. I think that's why they did that on that hole.
Yeah, but if you shave that bunker down the way it's supposed to,
that's going to make it easier.
They
don't want it easier. That's the USGA. That's why I have a disdain for the USGA at times. That they just make this. And honestly, if you are around the players and the caddies who talk about it, and the one thing about golf, it's a gentleman's sport. So they're very rarely going to come out in the press conference and say, this place sucks. They're not going to do it. Behind closed doors, they will.
Yeah.
100% they will, and 100% they do. And you could see a lot of players, and we discussed this earlier, who, if you're outside the top 30, top 35 coming into Sunday, you just want the day over. You just want this day to be finished. Even Rory said, 4.5 hours and I'll be out of here. Let's play quick. He shot 300, but he shot 300 because he probably didn't care. He was just let's get this over and done with. So people are paying great money to come and watch the people outside the top 30 not give a damn, really. I mean, there were going to be some guys who are maybe grinding a little bit, but they're done. They know they can't win. They're out. They're done.
Well, and that was the one thing.
You're not going to shoot 61.
No, that course wasn't going to yield a 65.
No. So you're not going to do that. So these guys literally have no hope of winning. So
once you add in inclement weather and
and crappy rules officials who don't give you drops when there's water on the fairway, and I know this is a new rule and all this sort of stuff. It's garbage.
So let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
The ruling on 15.
Yeah, the mistake he made was call for a rules official. He probably should have just asked Adam Scott.
Because the USGA changed the rule in, I think, 2019, if I remember right, is when they did the last major rules change. And they now deem it as temporary water.
Yeah.
Not casual water.
It's still water.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling at the USGA.
But by definition of the rule, 16.1, there was not temporary water.
Oh, there was water there.
Did you see the puddle?
Yeah.
Where?
No, I mean, as soon as you
Two rules officials say that they didn't see water.
As soon as you put your feet down, it comes outside of your feet. There's water there. It's done. But I know that's the supposed new rule. Let's have some common sense.
Well, I don't disagree.
Let's have common sense. I mean, if you want to do that, then just give nobody any relief and just make sure you play from the water. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the fairway.
So that's exactly what I wanted to ask you, because there was rulings going on all over the course that you don't see on television. That's the one part that I think we've got to talk about on our side of the business now, is the things that happen where the TV cameras aren't. You know, yes, you had a camera crew following the penultimate group with JJ and Terrell, and you had, and Victor, and you had obviously the final group. But the groups 4, 5, 6 ahead that weren't named Scotty Scheffler, getting rulings and getting temporary relief given, and then the guy that is actually leading the tournament
doesn't get it.
For what reason?
Because that's the USGA. They're trying to make it hard on everybody. Just have some common sense. It's just like mud balls, and eventually we're going to get back to the mud balls. Scotty Scheffler hates mud balls. I hate mud balls. But when you see the water like that on the fairway, and there's actually a YouTube video there's a spectator comes up where he hit that shot from, and he's like standing there, and you can just see all the water coming up around him. It's like, what? You don't play out of that. But these guys are like, no, sorry, we come up with a new rule and blah, 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 blah. Well, it's water. Which water is it?
So it was interesting, because I heard a very interesting take on this, that where his relief would have been the rough.
I don't know. I think it's near.
Because his nearest point of relief would have been to go to the right and go into the rough.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't really. They didn't look at it, because apparently he just said, no, you can't do it. And then the other guy said no as well. So they weren't really looking whether he had to go backwards, where he would have had to go sideways, where he would have had a club. Like, I don't know. So
I guess my question then is, if it wasn't based off of, okay, let me ask you this. They grant him relief, but it's going into the rough. Are you dropping in the rough?
No, absolutely not.
So you're going to play it?
Yeah.
So do you think he handled it the right way?
Well, he didn't have a choice.
Well, you could have called another rules official.
Well, you
could have done the same thing that you did on the tee before the rain came and delayed hitting a golf ball. Yeah, you're going to get put on the clock. You weren't on the clock, though, at that point.
Yeah, because they hadn't called the play, and yeah.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
That happened. I just got off the phone with Daniel Chopa. That happened to us and I can't remember what tournament it was, but it was it starts pouring rain. I mean, it is just torrential. And there's a house behind the 17th or 18th tee we were playing. So we just go, these people are like, hey, just come and hang in our patio. So we just go in the indoor patio there. So we're all standing there like waiting for it to stop rain. And the rules official drives up. He's like, what are you doing? Staying out of the rain. We haven't blown the horn. You have to keep playing. I'm like, what do you mean you haven't blown the horn? Well, there's no lightning in here. It's only rain. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess we'd been up there for like 20 minutes.
There's no electricity in the area.
There's no electricity, so just keep playing. We just left the course.
So, okay, I got to ask you this. Have you, and I already know the answer to this, so this is going to be a fun little one. Have you ever had a player or players have a rules official that has either angered them or...
Oh, yeah. and I can't remember the guy's name. I know I will. I'll probably find out by the end of it. He's retired now from the PGA Tour. It's not Slugger White or any of the guys who've been out there for a long time. This guy, he used to wear like a cowboy. He had a cowboy hat, and he used to be like the sunglasses like the police used to wear. And you'd see him like sitting on the side of the fairway. He looked like a policeman with a radar gun. And
he had the Ray-Bans.
That's what he looked like. And it was like, this was the first ever event, FedEx event. I think it was the Barclays in New York. And I was caddying for Trip Eisenhower. And we had like this huge rainstorm. And so we're on one of the holes there, and he's looking for casual water. And again, same sort of thing. And he calls for a rules official. He sees the rules official come, and he's like, oh, no, I can't do this. No. The rules official drives up. He's like, you might as well give me a second opinion because I know you're not going to give me a drop. So just go get another rules official. I want a second opinion. He didn't even ask. He goes, just give me a second opinion.
What happened?
He got a second opinion. He got a drop.
Okay. So I actually, you know what, going back to Sam, I had a theory in my head because as an official in a different sport, you're never going to overturn another official.
Oh, it's happened.
I'm sure. And I'm sure the conversation in the locker room afterwards is great.
Yeah, why did you give him that ruling and stuff? Well, technically, they're not supposed to say when you get a second opinion. They're not supposed to tell the second rules official what the player is asking.
See the
I know.
Is that just to say, hey, by the way, some help over on 15?
Well, normally what will happen is you'll call for a rules official. You don't want that one. I want a second opinion. And then the rules official will just get on and say, hey, I need a second opinion on the 13th fairway, second shot kind of thing. And then the other guy will drive up and then he'll drive off. So they're not supposed to communicate what the ruling is about.
Okay, so let's play a little devil's advocate on this.
You know they talk
I'm the first official. I call you up, Mick, I need you to come over to 15. There's a temporary water ruling over here. Second ruling needed. And I drive off. What do you think I ruled?
Yeah, the second guy already knows. But it's happened in the past where a guy goes, yeah, you can have it. It's usually like for an animal scrape or something like that. It's not usually casual water or line of sight. You know, there's a crane 360 yards ahead, but that's the line I want to go to. You know, players will make up anything to try to get a drop. It happens all the time.
Okay. Any other instances that you can think of where...
Second opinions and stuff like that? No, I've probably been involved.
Or rulings where you were just like, what the... And then what happened with the player?
Normally, if you don't get the ruling that you like, you realise you're going to have a hot-tempered player for about the next 3 or 4 holes. Nothing usually goes very well after a bad ruling. They're a little...
And look at what 15 happened.
They're a little testy.
So do you think Sam lost it?
He was probably a little annoyed. Yeah, I don't think that helped him. It certainly didn't help his mentality, but you're going to learn from that. Bad rulings are going to happen. Especially in the US Open.
The double cross and then...
especially in the US
Chili
Open.
chunk in the...
It's fast becoming my least favourite major.
The US Open?
Yep.
Why?
Because of the way they set the courses up and stuff like that.
So
1,855 over par the field was this week.
That's... Well, but the design is to have the winning score
amazing to watch.
At what...
I watched the last 3 hours of that tournament. How many good shots do you think you saw in the last 3 hours?
Maybe 5.
Yeah, hell. How many bad ones do you reckon you watched?
Oh, I can't even count.
Exactly. So that's worth watching? Nah, not for me. I like watching.
I will say
he held 3 amazing putts. He hit a fantastic drive on 17, and I watched Sam Burns hit 1 great shot out of a divot, and then I went, okay, let's just watch some guys hack around in the rough for the rest of the day.
My text to you when JJ was standing on 18, I said, let's see what kind of nerves this kid has. Mm-hmm. And he pounded it down 18.
Yep, he did. And you know the funny part about it was I was watching it in Guston's, even though I'm not drinking. I was watching in Guston's because trivia night, and I was watching it, and obviously it finished later. It's a full bar. Everybody's eating, doing their thing and stuff like that. There was one person watching the US Open. Me.
That was it?
Me. Everybody was asking me questions about it. I get interrogated a lot when it comes to
I bet.
Watching places, which is fine. I don't mind that, but a lot of people come up and asking questions about it. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? But when actually sitting down watching the US Open in that bar, there was one person, me. When that's the Masters, everybody's watching it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the difference. Because the Masters gives you a chance to watch a shot like Rory hit, a huge big hook around the trees, and and have that. You can't do that. You can't do that in the US Open.
Well, no, you're
chip
you're
it sideways.
penalized for missing the fairway.
Let's chip it sideways. It's so much fun to watch.
Yet we made this a TV made for TV event so that we could make sure we finished on Sunday.
Yes, 100%.
Because what you and I were going back.
You get rushed. I've been in groups before where it all amount TV and finishing. I was at the Canadian Open one year doing this. You get told to hustle. Let's go. We have to finish this today. We have to finish this today.
You knew that when they went back out on that golf course, they were not coming back in unless there was electricity in the
Oh,
area.
yeah. And when they showed the one storm coming past, and I was like, well, I don't think they're going to finish now. They'll probably go off because there's got to be lightning in the area. I guess there was no lightning. Okay. Say no more. Anyway, that's the USA. Move on.
You didn't want them.
I'd rather watch there'll be more people watching the Travelers this week than the last round of the US Open.
Okay, so you don't. Okay, let me ask it this way.
Congratulations to the winner, and congratulations if you've ever won a US Open, because you've toughed it out in some conditions and stuff like that. But I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great viewing.
You don't think it highlighted the best golfer of the week?
No. He was the best putter coming down the stretch. He holed three of the best putts you've ever seen in your life. There's only one other person that's birdied 17, 18 to win a US Open. That's Ben Hogan. So he's in elite company. And congratulations to him, because, I mean, incredible putts. But that's what it turned into.
And he's on with one other that shot a 40 on the front and went subpar to win.
Yeah. So, I mean, congratulations to him. He did what he had to do to win the US Open. He doesn't drive it long. He hits it straight.
266.
Yep, he hits it straight. So he did everything he had to do to win the US Open. What's that?
I could go win the US Open.
No, I've seen you putt. All right, let's
can-
move on
you
from
can
the US
work on
Open.
that.
Everyone's going to get beaten on me for this now because I just don't go
No,
the
I don't. No, because I don't necessarily.
And I've been very gentle about it, but honestly, I think it sucks the way they set these golf courses up. And if you talk to most of the players and all of the caddies, same thing. It's just it just gets overkill. It's like just.
So okay, then let's just do this,
There's
because
got to be a happy medium somewhere, and I think if 5 under wins it, 6 under wins it, 7 under wins it, and it gives people a chance, I think it's better viewing.
well, I think there should have been more holes that were birdie centric.
Yes.
And gave you a chance.
You don't have to tuck the pin in every corner and then have the rough 3 feet away that's 7 inches long.
or have a 300-yard par 3.
Yeah, well, that makes
I mean, you
pointless.
might as well have just taken 8 right out of the play.
Yeah,
just
it's
call it a par 4.
Yeah, if it's a short par 4, everyone's going to make 3 there, and But anyway,
It's okay.
all right. I've bashed the US Open enough. Till next year at is it Wingfoot? No, it's
No, it is at Shinnecock.
Shinnecock.
We're gonna go up into the east.
Yeah.
At Shinnecock.
Yeah, bring it back to Pebble, Tory.
That's a couple of
Keep
years.
rolling.
Hey, I think it's 2037. If we're still on this podcast,
2037.
yeah,
Well, I'll be dead. I could be dead by then.
we're gonna be at Oakland
I'll
Hills.
be back to. Oh yeah, great.
Phenomenal golf course.
Where's Oakland Hills?
Yep.
Where's
you know
Oakland
where it
Hills?
is.
Where's Oakland Hills?
Bloomfield Hills, Michigan.
Only took one. All right, let's move on. Let's
Okay.
go after the US Open. I'm done bashing the US Open.
So we have a new president or CEO of the PGA Tour,
Cha-ching.
Mr. Brian, joins us from the NFL. He was number 2 in charge, by the way.
Of the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, he must have been on a good wicket, a good pay packet there at the NFL, because we actually Googled this before, because I said that the, what's his name? Roger Goodell was on
Yes.
about $60 million a year as the CEO,
$64 million.
$64 million a year to run
Mick,
the NFL.
do some caddy math.
Oh, no, I already got it. My math don't go that high.
Do caddy math. How much is that a week?
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I wasn't allowed to use my phone.
Do you think Brian's going to be making more than that?
No, he's going to be on these. He's got to be making 30, 40 for the. Well, I
To
don't
run
know
the tour?
He's got to be getting close to that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to take a huge pay cut come from one or the other, but yeah, he's running the tour now. Well, it'll be interesting to see. The tour's got a lot of stuff it's got to figure out. With
I
Liv.
particularly like him.
It's got to be figured out with Liv and the PGA Tour. There's something that has to break soon.
I mean, he's right in my wheelhouse. Media and corporate partnerships.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Woo!
That's your style.
This is finally we're getting some real leadership
let's get
around
away
here.
from the CEO garbage.
Okay.
What's next?
We'll move on. Speaking of the last signature event, the Travelers,
Love that golf course.
Cromwell, Connecticut.
Great golf course.
All the boys are up there.
My boy Bradley Hughes used to live up there.
Bradley Hughes.
Yeah, coach.
Yeah?
President's Cup player who I caddied for. Great guy. Coaches a lot of players now. Very good coach.
What were some of your highlights up in Cromwell, Connecticut?
Highlights. Played with a female there.
Really? Who?
Suzy Whaley.
Suzy Whaley.
Suzy Whaley.
Of the PGA of America.
She qualified to get into the tournament off the ladies' tees.
Yes, she did.
And she was paired with Anthony Painter, 2002, and Sagakata, Japanese player, who was in the group with us.
Yeah?
Yeah, we got to play with her for the first 2 days.
And how did she do?
I think she shot like 15 or 16 over, I think, by memory. She's a lovely lady. But yeah, I think she was like number 2 woman to play on a PGA Tour.
I think there's only
event.
2 other women that have done that.
Annika and Michelle.
Maybe 3 then.
I think there's 3.
Lexi played.
Lexi played, and I think there
Lexi
was.
played
I think
just a
there
couple
was
years
one.
ago.
I think there was one before Suzy Whaley, way back. I can't. remember.
Babe.
Might have been Babe Dietrichson.
Babe. Yep.
Yeah, I think she did. So Suzy was number 2. We played the first time with her, and yeah. So that
She's
was.
a phenomenal woman.
Suzy Whaley?
Yeah.
She's a lovely lady.
I've seen interviews. You talk about someone that should be running the PGA of America.
And I think her husband was the tournament director at the time.
Could probably.
I think so. Yeah, but that was probably one of the highlights.
Okay. What else?
I don't know.
You speak so highly of the Travelers.
It's just a great golf course. It's a great layout. The last 4
so we're going to go
holes-
from shooting 1 under or even par to 27 under.
Probably, but you could toughen that golf course up a little bit. You really could. There's some really really good holes on that golf course.
Do you think they could do it without weather? You're saying?
No, they'd have to grow the rough a little bit without going too crazy and stuff like that. But length these days. I mean, that course. I mean, there's 10, 11, 12, 13 par 5 with the railway tracks down the left hand side. And there's a lot of water by the green there. It's a great par 5. But these guys, if you rip one down there, you're coming in with an iron. And the green sort of slopes from right to left, so you can just sort of bring it in there nicely. Great hole. And then you've got 15, drivable par 4 with water on the left. 16. 17's a sort of one of those holes that you don't really have to hit driver on, just water all down the right side. It's a little difficult working out the angles to the flag, but work it out.
Get it figured
Obviously,
out.
Jim Furyk shot 58 there, so
I was going to say it's Furyk's famous 58. We heard about.
it's easy for you to say.
We heard about that last week from Alex.
We did. No, good golf course. Really enjoy it. Don't know where I used to drink up there.
I was going to say, where was the bar? Because we did. That was the one thing we didn't talk about last week with Alex here. You didn't. Did you ever caddy at Oakmont?
No,
So
thankfully.
You don't really have a bar in
Don't
Pittsburgh.
have a bar up there. Don't have a bar up there. No.
Okay. So we didn't miss one on the Mick World.
I did end
Bar
up in
Tour.
hospital after a round at
What?
at Hartford, Connecticut.
How did you end up in the hospital?
I had really bad chest pains, and I thought I was having a heart attack. So I go to the medical room before it. I was like in agony. I couldn't sleep. I was like having shooting pains, and I called one of my buddies who's a doctor, and he's like, you probably should get yourself looked at. So I go to the medical center there.
There's breaking news.
I go to the medical center there at Hartford, and I go in there, and my blood pressure's like 180 over something. It was ridiculously high. And they're like, this isn't really that good.
Who gave you this advice?
What?
To go see a doctor?
One of my buddies, Jerry Gwanskol. He's a...
Jerry?
Jerry, he's a surgeon that I know.
Maybe Jerry. Hey, Jerry, if you're listening, can you please call him and give him some advice to go have the knee looked at now, since
he's working in... actually, he spends half his time here in Atlanta, so...
Jerry, call Mick now.
So he told me to go see the medical people. So I go see the medical people. My blood pressure's through the roof. And they're like, well, you probably shouldn't caddy. I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I'm going out to caddy. No biggie. So I go out there, and I'm like really feeling like dirt. And so they come out with about 4 holes to play just to watch me, just to see if I was going to keel over. Like that.
Did they have a bet going?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, so I felt like I was at the horse races, like an ambulance following me around, just waiting for me to fall down.
For you to
Yeah,
fall
so
over.
he's going to fall down. They got an ambulance waiting for him. He'll be all right. So I finish and my blood pressure is like way high. It's through the roof. And I'm really, really hurting. So anyway, they shipped me off to hospital. I came in for Jared Lyle. And so Jared drives me to the hospital, drops me off at the front. He's not going to come in because he's got a fear of hospitals at this stage, obviously going through his cancer.
For
so
good
he's like,
reason.
yeah, well, he's like, oh, good luck, see ya. So I basically, they knew I was coming. The tour had basically said I was coming in. So I go in there and anyway, they give me 1,000 tests. I guess they had this thing called pericarditis,
Okay.
which is an inflammation in the wall of your heart. So my heart couldn't sit in the crevice properly. So every time I sat up, it would feel good because the heart would be out of the... And then every time I lay down, it would give me agony. So I was in hospital for 2 days. They fixed it. They gave me some meds and move on.
Move on.
Yeah. My big mate Shannon come to see me in hospital. He bought a whole bunch of McDonald's for me because I told him I was starving. So he brings in McDonald's. I'm like, McDonald's? He goes, dude, you're in the heart ward. What could go wrong? You'll be fine.
Big Shannon.
Big Shannon's like, yeah, just eat it.
Big Shannon just...
Mate, if you have a heart attack here, you're in good hands.
You're in the bright spot.
Yeah, so they did. So I was there for 2 days and then they let me go.
Wow. So that's what you remember of...
Hartford. My heart in Hartford.
Your heart in Hartford.
Yeah, it's a good golf course. I like that place. Good track.
No bar, though. You don't have a bar.
I'm sure there was.
Come on.
I'd have to think about it. I didn't put much thought into this one. I'd have to think. I'm trying to think where we stayed there. Yeah, downtown. Downtown Hartford is absolutely horrific, by the way, if you're ever going to stay in Hartford. Nothing to do. It's
nothing?
Nothing. It's
Is
just
it a
like
sleepy town and goes to bed early?
It's permanently asleep. It's like Rip Van Winkle. It's just permanently asleep. There's a couple little bars down there that are okay, but it's basically like a business district thing. There's really nothing happens down there. Yeah, it's actually boring. Sorry if you live in Hartford, but it's a boring town.
But they got a really good tournament.
They got a great tournament, just a boring town. Suburbs are probably great, but city itself, no.
Okay.
There goes my Hartford. There goes my Hartford Whalers friends.
There goes our invite up to Cromwell, Connecticut.
Oh, no, the golf course is amazing. I've said it's a beautiful golf course. I love it. Let's go up there. But if you're looking for a drink downtown, not the easiest place.
Just drink at the course.
I'm kind of surly today, aren't I?
You are.
It's the USGA's fault.
Do you want to go back to it? You
No.
want to keep talking about it?
No, another 12 months. I'm off.
I mean...
They set me off, and then everybody at the bar was getting in my ear about it, and I was like, yeah, I was getting angry, so...
You were angry about it for all last week.
I know.
From the time that you and Alex and I got together.
Yeah, I know. And I've been very gentle.
You were
about it.
salty.
Even when I was on the radio the other morning, I was actually gentle. Someone asked me the question. I said, well, I'm kind of on the fence, but I'm not on the fence anymore.
You're just letting it go.
Yeah, I'm letting it go now.
National podcast. Might as well let it fly.
Yeah, let it go. Worldwide podcast.
Worldwide. Well, we do have... I mean...
Worldwide.
What is that? Australasia?
Australasia.
Australasia. We have viewership and listenership there.
Yep.
Malaysia. That's the big one.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
I don't know anyone in Malaysia.
I don't. Neither do I. But
maybe I do. I don't know.
no.
All right. What else?
Maybe I have a brother or sister.
Anyway, I don't want to go on the USGA. I don't want to drive home angry.
we don't want them angry at us. We want to be able to get a credential at some point.
I ain't getting a ticket to the US Open.
You don't think we can get a credential for the U.S. Open?
Probably
cover
not.
it?
Yeah, you might after this. I won't.
Okay. Well, we're two of a kind.
You and Slim can go.
I'll take Slim.
Slim's right there. Look at him. He won't come
We're
on camera.
we're gonna be doing the Tour Championship in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll have to get Slim on camera hitting a shot.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's shaking his head. Yep. All right. Wear your Alabama shirt.
Are you done getting Slim involved?
Yep. Sorry.
Anything else you want to cover?
No. I'm good now.
You're good.
I've gone through rules officials. Some of them are good.
Rules officials, check.
I'll come up with his name next week. It's on the tip of my tongue, the bad rules official. But there's some good ones out there.
Did you want to wish, by the way, I meant to ask, did you want to wish your dad Happy Father's Day?
No, because it's Father's Day in Australia is in September.
Oh, it's in September. Mm-hmm. We'll wait.
Mother's Day is the same. Father's Day is in September.
But we're not dads on the same day?
No, I guess not.
Okay.
I actually don't even know why it's different. I'll have to look.
That's weird.
The Americans probably changed it to do something different. I don't know.
Yeah, typical Americans.
I'll be one soon.
You will be.
Yeah.
You're getting
coming
there.
here with my American passport when I get it.
You're marching along,
I am.
dealing through all the, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trying to find 3 marriage certificates, 3 divorce papers.
You should
It's a lot.
Post an X for Elon. Maybe he can help.
It's not like I kept them.
expedite it.
It's not like I souvenired them.
Well, I was going to say they're not hanging on your wall.
It's not like I got them.
Here's
signed.
one,
Not
here's
like I got them
two,
signed.
here's three.
I have to get a bigger room.
Yeah. Your trophy room?
And we wouldn't have enough room.
Wow. Here we go.
Anyway, so no, Hartford's a great great event. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to watching that. There'll probably be more people watching that than that other.
And then there's going to be a couple of tournaments coming up after that, the Rocket and the John Deere, before the boys head over across the pond for the Scottish and the Open.
The Open Championship. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to covering some of those. We're going to have to start diving into the Open here probably in the next episode. A little look ahead. Who do you have winning, by the way, this week at the Travelers?
Ricky Fowler.
You're going Ricky. Based on his finish.
Going to be back, baby.
Based on his finish, Cam Young gets his first PGA Tour victory.
Cameron Young, sponsored by MLB.
Sponsored by MLB. You and your Cubbies. Boom. There it is.
There it is.
All right, buddy.
All right. Slim, what have we got? You got anything for us, Slim? Nothing.
Oh, nothing from him.
Nothing from
Kim
him.
was supposed to show up. She didn't.
No, that's it. So, yeah,
Okay.
rules officials. So, yeah, that was my take on rules officials. I think his last name was Kavanagh. In fact, I'm nearly betting my last dollar, which I probably have over there.
Somewhere in the coach.
Somewhere over there.
It's somewhere in the coach?
Kavanagh was his last name.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the one.
Sheriff.
Sheriff, yeah.
Welcome to
But
Stone,
having
Sheriff.
said that, now, I want. Do we have time to go back to
Sure.
smashing lockers and stuff like that?
Yeah, you want to go? We can go there.
Yeah.
I mean, Slim's not going to cut us off.
So, I've seen quite a few things happen in locker rooms. Things get thrown around, and anger, and doors getting slammed, and things like that. And someone was asking me the other. I think it might have been you. Actually, no. I think it was. Who was it? Might have been Bo. Was asking me if I catered for anybody who's like gone off the deep rails and stuff like that. They asked me the other door, and I've had a player go into a portalette, and after in the ninth hole at Syracuse, in some of the worst conditions I've ever caddied for. I mean, it was a 470 yard something par 4, directly into the wind and the rain, and he hit driver 3-wood to the middle of the green. Two of the best shots I've ever seen. I mean, in the conditions, and 4-putted, and walked into the portalette that was in between 9 and 10, and just next thing you know, the portalette's like bam, 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 like this, and the player comes out, and there's like blood and stuff. Yeah. And then Anthony Painter at 84 Lumber in 2002 hit a shot on the par 3, and it had been raining, and he took his club and he put it there, and he tried to stand on it to break it, but his shoe kept slipping. So he couldn't break it, and he must have had 7 or 8 goes at it. It was actually he looked like he was trying to kickstart a motorbike. He's like like this, trying to break it, and he finally got it bent a little bit. And I was like, like a hole later, I'm like, really, dude, that's the best you can come up with. That's the best you could do to try to break a club. I'm like, seriously, dude, you can do better than that. And about 4 holes later, he hit this shot, and on the follow through, he just snapped it over his knee, and he looks at me, and goes, "Is that better?" Much better, thank you. So we broke two. We broke 2 in a day.
You didn't share the one story where you got hit in the mouth.
Oh yeah, that was Anthony Painter as well. Yeah.
Anthony has a little bit of an attitude.
Nah, he doesn't. Anthony's one of the nicest people you'd ever meet in your life.
I bet
He's got
he
a great
is.
sense of humour. Unbelievable, driest, sarcastic Australian you've ever met in your life. Yeah, I mean, amazing.
He's more sarcastic than you?
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh, boy.
1,000%. Like, we were in Reno one year, and this guy comes up to us, and he's just a spectator. And, like, if you've ever been to Reno, I mean, every house is the same.
I've been to Reno.
Every house on the golf course is brown because you have to paint them that way. And this guy comes up, and he's like, yeah, I live on the 15th hole. And Anthony's like, oh, you live in the brown house? And the guy's like, yeah, how'd you know? It's just like, really? Yeah, that's stupid. And Anthony Paints just looks, it's, yeah. Sorry, I think that went over your head. But Anthony was first event. One of the first events I ever caddied for him was in Tampa. 10th hole, par 4, dead straight, deceptively straight. Really, really hard hole.
Dead straight.
You couldn't be any more straight if you tried. It's not a very hard hole. And he takes driver, hits it down the right-hand side. It's just slightly in the rough. It's not too bad. And he takes an 8-iron out, and he hits it, and he just double crosses this thing, smother hook, and he takes the club and he just spins it like that way, just flicks it straight at the bag. Well, it hits the top of the bag and comes back and hits me square in the mouth. The iron, the part of the hardest part, hits me fair square in the mouth.
Didn't break your teeth.
Nah, but it split my lip.
Oh, yeah.
And I start bleeding straight away. And the crowd was like, oh, damn, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So I just take the towel and I'm walking with my, towel and blood dripping down and stuff like that. So we get towards his ball. He looks at me. He's like, "What the hell happened to you?" I was like, "Dude, you just hit me in the face with a club." He goes, "No, I didn't. I threw it at the bag." I'm like, "It hit the top of the bag. It hit me in the face." And he's like, "No." Like he's like the nicest man on the planet. Like he's done.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm done. I'm done. I can't play. Let's just withdraw." I'm like, "Dude, I'm all right. It's not that bad. You didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident.
Right.
It's okay. It was an accident." And he
Stop
was like,
losing your temper.
yeah, he was like shaking for like the next 3 or 4 holes that he had hit me in the face, and then he was like, "Dude, I'm like at the end of this round, we're going to go out. We'll have a nice steak dinner." I'm like, "How would you like me to eat that? What are you going to blend it for me?" He just smashed me in the mouth with a golf club.
Got a fat lip because of you.
But that was I think that was and then apart from the Robert Allenby one when he threw a club at me, but I'd rather
that's the story actually I thought you were going to tell on air was the Robert Allenby when Bo asked you the question, have you ever had a club thrown at you?
Yeah.
Or I thought for sure that was going to be the story that was told.
His name's been in my mouth too much. I can't.
Yeah.
But no, Anthony was a great guy, and But I got him back a couple of years later, where he hit a ball in the water and he had to take a drop, and I was on a really steep embankment, and so he took a drop, and when the ball starts to roll, caddies, once it passes the red line, can grab it before it goes in the water, and you just hand it back. He takes another drop, and then same thing happens. The ball rolls past the hazard, doesn't go in the water. You catch it, you give it to him, then he gets to place it.
Right.
But I decided to stop the ball before it went over the red line.
Oops.
Yeah, that was a little 2-shot penalty that I got him. So we paid him back. That wasn't a PGA Tour event, by the way. That was like the New South Wales Open in Australia, where everybody was hungover, and it was a $100,000 event. But I got him a 2-shot penalty because I touched the ball before it rolled into the hazard.
Ball?
Yeah. I didn't live that one down for a while.
I bet you didn't.
But at least I'm big enough to come out and say that I
you've admitted some things today.
Cost the player 2 shots.
Yeah. And you've put a couple on the couch permanently.
Yeah.
You've had quite the episode.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Are you good then? Otherwise,
yeah. No, I feel like I've been on the couch like venting things that have happened to me like 30 years ago. I feel like I've done like a psychiatrist.
Well, I was going to say, do we replace? Oh, the plants are gone again. Maybe we put some tissues over there. We can just.
No, I'm good. I'm not going to cry about it. That's good.
No. Okay. Yeah. Drink some cement. Toughen up.
Yeah, take a tablespoon of cement and harden up. That's what I'm doing.
There you go. Well, thanks for teeing up with us on Tales from the Tips. You can catch all of our episodes. You can check us out on Instagram, X, TikTok. That's Mick's favorite platform.
No, I joined it.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, Mick's on the TikTok.
I had to get someone to show me how to do it, though.
We're on YouTube for all of our shorts and new content. No looking up the shorts, Kim. Guys, remember, keep your drive straight, your putt short, and your scores low as we tee it up on Tales from the Tips. We'll see you next time.